watching. And of course, subscribe.
And hello everyone, welcome to Haunting Live Podcast. We're doing a special live podcast tonight, and it is New Year's Eve, so hope everybody's having a wonderful end to 2020 and bringing in 2021 later tonight. And I want to say Happy New Year's to everybody first of all. But as you can see from our podcast post here tonight, we are bringing you a special emergency podcast of Haunting Live Podcast and dealing with a topic that is quite hot and ready to burst tonight here in our region of Kitchener-Waterloo. Actually, it is in the region of Cambridge, Ontario, down in Preston. And that is, we're going to be talking about the demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel, one of the most historical buildings in southern Ontario, in our region anyway. And yes, it is actually being destroyed as we speak. So we wanted to come on and bring you a special Haunting Live podcast, talk a little bit about the history of the hotel that we know of, some rumors of why it's rumored to be haunted and what it was used for, and show you some clips and things that have been going on today with the demolition that are out there on social media. So we're going to start with talking about a little bit about the history. So Preston Springs Hotel was not always called the Preston Springs Hotel. It was actually called the Del Monte Hotel Walder, and that was operating prior to 1888. So it was from 1888 to 2020 is its timeline, and that is going to end as of this week. It is being demolished as we speak. So there's a lot of people obviously on different sides of the fence with this. A lot of people are pro, a lot of people are con. And we're just going to be open tonight and have a open discussion about both sides of that coin. So there's a lot of pros to that, there's a lot of cons to that, and people have some opinions about both things. So we're more than happy to take your comments and questions tonight and just have an open discussion on the topic of the demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel here live on Haunting Live Podcast. But thank you guys for taking time out to tune in, and hope you're having a wonderful New Year's Eve tonight. We're just relaxing here in the studio and not doing a whole lot tonight, so we thought we'd come on and talk about this topic that's been trending all day, at least in our region here, because it is a hot topic. And we just wanted to have an open floor discussion with you guys, and any comments or questions are obviously welcome here in chat. But do keep it friendly. If there's anything too heated, we'll try to deal with that as they come. But please try to keep discussions to a friendly level. But both sides are definitely welcome. Like I was saying, there are open ends to this. There are people pro for it. There are people cons for it. So we're just going to try to keep an open discussion and see where things go here tonight with this, because it is a hot topic and it's going on right now as we speak down in Preston in the Cambridge area, which is close to us here in Kitchener-Waterloo. So okay, that out of the way, let's just start with a bit of the history up here. I do have a few windows open here that I'm going to bring up for you guys so you can read along with me as well. And first one I have open here is for the history of the Preston Springs Hotel. So let me bring up the window. And here we go. So this basically is just some information that's out there on the web. Anybody can find it. It's not copyright or anything like that. It's actually off of Wikipedia, so you guys can find it if you want to find out more details about the history and what it was used for in the past, and what it came down to and what happened to it and all that. So basically though, starting with the Preston Springs was called the Del Monte Hotel Walder and operating prior to 1888. It featured 5 acres, approximately 2 hectares of grounds within the gardens and the lawns. The primary attraction was the mineral baths in the basement, and that's what everybody can smell when they go by. It does have sulfur and stuff in it, and it attracts the minerals in the bath with the springs that are underneath the hotel. So with those high sulfur content, it was believed to cleanse the body and treat different illnesses as well, like arthritis and stuff like that. So it was thought to be a medical beneficial to cleanse your body with the minerals and the sulfur in the springs back in the day. What else does it say here? So the Walders sold the Del Monte in 1903 to a later owner, A.R. Kaufman. And that might be a name you guys recognize because that is the name of another building here in downtown Kitchener locally, the Kaufman Lofts. So he must have been an architecture person back in the day that he was sold to and owned the hotel, and renamed it Preston Springs. So, and the facility remained successful as a health spa until actually 1940, which is not that long ago. So it actually remained as a spa until 1940. After the war, it closed for some years, eventually becoming a retirement and care facility and closing in 1990. So after the war, after 1940, it actually became the retirement and care facility and closed its doors in 1990, which still isn't really that long ago if you think about it. I was still in school and stuff at that time, so it wasn't really that long ago. When the building was boarded up and remained vacant. The building was vacant since 2012, so it's only been vacant since 2012, and I guess a lot of people since then have been having the rumors and stuff that it's haunted and spirits and stuff because of it being a retirement and care facility. So there you go. There's a bit of history about it. And finally, the city ordered an emergency demolition late in December 2020 for reason of public safety. The work began on December 30th, 2020. So with this as Wikipedia, that's up to date to the current happenings of today, currently, right now, as we speak. Demolition has started on the building, and we're going to go through a little bit of a timeline next of what happened as far as I know it. If anybody has any different opinions and knows any more information, they want to pop in chat and promote those opinions, that's totally fine. But from what I know, like this states, it was vacant since 2012, and all through those years, people have broken in and done damage and stuff like that, which is illegal, and that's one thing as a team we do not do. We do not go into places and abandoned buildings and do modern exploring and stuff like that, so we try to do things legal and make sure that we have a contract with the owners of the building before we do any investigations at all. So. But I just know from years of experience that that building has had a lot of damage to it. And I guess it has become so unsafe that the city finally decided to act upon it. And last week there was an emergency order put in place that the building had to be torn down. So that's where we stand today. And to go with today's events, as far as I know, what has happened today is they started the demolition today. I guess this morning there were signs up and road blockages all around down by Fountain Street and down through King Street area in Cambridge, and people were delayed and stuff like that driving in the area, and they wondered why, and that's why obviously they couldn't get through. The roads were closed due to the demolition beginning on Preston Springs. And they started doing some demolition around noon, I believe. There's a video out there on Facebook and YouTube. I shared some stuff earlier today about some of those clips that were on like 570 and some of the other news stations. I think K-Fun had a really good clip up there as well, a local station here. And those are posted onto Facebook. You can find them. I'll play them here in a second for you as well, just some short clips of what went down. And then later on, an hour or so after they started, I think, the city or another group came forward that there was a halt order proceeded from the court, and they presented the workers with that, and that is also caught on video. Them presenting the court order to halt for 1 week. And they were supposed to stop and agree to that, but they had already started digging with their machines into the roof of the building and destroying the most historical part of the building. They started with the most historical side of it and started taking down parts of the building, the roof and stuff like that already, before they were handed this halt order from the courts today. And basically what happened was a couple hours after that, I believe it was about 2 hours afterwards, they started work again, and that court order was canceled. So that was on the news tonight as well, that court order got canceled a couple hours after it was presented to the workers. and they continued their work on demolishing the building. So the court order for the halt has been canceled. The work is continuing, and they said on the news tonight as well that the work could take a couple of days to complete. So it'll be about 3 to 4 days, and it'll be finished most likely within the week coming. So by the end of this week, the Preston Springs Hotel will no longer be standing in the city of Preston in Cambridge, Ontario. So from my personal point of view, it is unfortunate. I agree to certain points of things like, yes, it's an old building, and there should be concerns and caution with that it could collapse and things like that. So it could cause a danger to the public, because it is a sidewalk and stuff along that side. So people walking or anything at those cross lights that are right in front of the building, there could be a pose of danger to that, to the public. And was it an immediate emergency that they had to get an emergency order to actually demolish the whole building right away? I really don't think so. I think that could have probably been handled a little differently, as in bringing in some historical people, things like that, to maybe see what they could have done with the location to preserve it a bit better, rather than just going and saying, okay, it all has to come down. I know on the news tonight they were mentioning as well that they did manage to save some historical pieces like tile work and the front of the location. So there will be some memorabilia and stuff that was saved from the hotel back in the day and be brought forward for safekeeping. So that is one good thing. But I think, and I hope that they do something else with the actual building part of it as well. I really hope that they are able to save a portion of the building like they did for some other areas in town. They would save a piece of that building and just make sure a little piece of it remains. So there is a sort of memorial there for it, rather than just taking the whole thing down. And I just really hope that something is done to preserve more of the historical value of that location. I do also understand the fact that over the past, at least timeline I've lived in the Kitchener-Waterloo region, that some people have been trying to purchase the building and the property and renovate it and make it into something. And every single person that's tried for the past 20 to 30 years at least have had nothing but trouble getting it back up and fixed up. So there's many reasons for that. I've heard many rumors in the past that it's things like it's property space. They can't get enough space to do what they want to do. It's too far gone that they can't get enough funding to replenish the whole building and put it back to where it needs to be. But the main number one issue is the parking situation. I know that there is absolutely zero parking for that area, and if they were to build something new, like a new building on that property, there will not be sufficient area to put a parking lot in order to have a building in that spot any longer. So with all those different things, I do understand the safety concerns, and they have tried for decades to get something in that spot. And if it's just come down to it, I do understand the need to create a safety issue and make it safe for everybody and the public that are in that area, especially how high and much traffic goes through that area day after day. But I do hope that they take into consideration the historical value of that location, because they need to do more than just save a little piece of the inside or something like the tile work or whatever the pieces they manage to grab out of it. I really hope they save a good chunk of the building itself, because that's what's really going to hold the energy to the building as well. So when you destroy a building like that, and there has been a ton of energy within there throughout the years and the decades, especially for what it was used for. It had a sulfur bath in there, there's natural springs in there. That water flowing energy in there is going to hold a lot of spiritual energy, especially when it was used for the retirement home and the care facility back in the day. Obviously, I'm sure people passed away there, and that's why people think there's rumors of it being haunted as well. And the fact that they just didn't allow anybody in there due to safety concerns, I do understand. But at that same time, nobody was able to get in there to investigate that location to see if it was actually haunted or not. There's no evidence brought forth from that location besides a few people that decided to trespass and break and enter. And I just don't think that was right either. So if somebody would allow a professional team to go in there and actually investigate properly and bring evidence forward that it might have some paranormal activity in there, we could have proven, or they could have proven as well, that that place was haunted. It did have energy to it, and there is energy attached to that historical building. That would have brought, I think, a lot more credibility to people saying, well, yeah, you need to do more than just tear the whole building down within a week. I think that's just the shock of it all. I think that's the shock that people are having today, that, well, it's just being torn down for no reason. Did you look into the whole history of it and stuff like that? Or are you just seeing it as a safety concern and the city just said, oh yeah, that's a good reason why? Okay. But I wonder what you guys are thinking. If you guys have any comments or questions on it, we do have chat running tonight. Chris is in chat. He's monitoring as well. So if you guys have any questions or any comments that you want to make, whether it's pro for the demolition or whether it's actually con for the demolition, we're totally open to having different types of comments here tonight. We're going to keep it open for a little while here on New Year's Eve with you, and we'll have an open discussion on the demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel in Preston, Cambridge, Ontario. It's one place that we here at Haunting Live Podcast have always wanted to get into, and unfortunately that did not happen. So we were close though. We had one of our colleagues that we used to work with, he had some connections, and he did mention that he would pass our name on to the people in charge of that location, but nothing materialized for us in that, unfortunately, and we were not able to get into the building. And now here we are today talking about the demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel. So the only one good thing I'm hoping that does come from this is that if the building is torn down and later on, maybe a year or 2 years down the road, and they open that property back up and they decide that, well, there's not enough space to put anything there, they'll just keep that property open as park space or something like that alongside the road next to the wall of rocks that are behind it, the rock wall there, that maybe we will actually be able to actually just get on that property and investigate it and see if there's any spirits and energy that is still there attached to that spring water underneath. So we're really just hoping that we can get into that property later on, and maybe once the building is gone, a year or two down the road, we can get on that property and actually do an investigation where it used to stand. So, and of course have maybe like a small memorial or something for it there, and hopefully things go well afterwards. And we definitely hope that they have a smooth demolition. Nothing goes too wrong when they're taking the building down. No injuries or anything like that. Hope though, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some upset spirit energy in that location, and you might get some activity after that building comes down for sure. So people driving by might see some energies. They might see some apparitions along that road. So next year or so, just watch out for that. So if you're driving down Fountain Street, you might see some apparitions.
We got a couple of messages actually in chat.
Okay, great.
I want to go back to chat and be able to pull it up. First one starts with Pam. I think it's Pam, or is she a couple below Kim?
Okay, well, let me go into my post here for it. Actually, what I'll do also, I'm going to be able to share this up to our group page. Okay. Yeah, so let me go through chat here quickly, guys. Just give me 1 second, and I'll see if you have any questions for us here at Haunting Live. We're talking demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel, which is going on as we speak. They started today around this morning or by noon, and they had a stop junction court order, but that was canceled, and they continued on this afternoon. So let me just see what's going on here in chat. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, see, Pamelina said there's some people who would. I'm assuming she means would go in, the city management blocked them from doing so, which is 100% correct, Pamelina. That's one thing that we don't agree with, is trespassing just to go into urban exploring, or whatever people call it these days, investigating. It gives a bad name to people like our team who do things correctly and try to go in and contact the owners of the location to see if it's allowed and get written permission to be on property. That is the only way to do things. Let me see here. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We're talking about the demolition that's taking place as we speak at the Preston Springs Hotel. This is an open podcast. If you guys do have any questions, if you want to post them up in chat or comments, whether it's pro or whether it's con, we're totally open to any discussion here tonight on Haunting Live Podcast. It is one location that we did try to get into a few years ago here at Haunting Live as an investigation team. We did go through proper channels. We went actually right to the city. We went right to the historical department. They almost allowed us to talk about it, but we didn't end up getting anywhere with them at all. And then in the end, we knew somebody else that had connections to the actual owner of the property, and he said he would pass on our name and information, and we never heard any from that conversation either. So nothing materialized for us even getting into the property or onto the property there to check it out. So it was one of our top 10 locations we wanted to get into, but nothing materialized, unfortunately. And as of today, we won't get that chance to get in there because it won't exist after another couple of days. So today is the first day of demolition. If you're driving by the location down there in Cambridge, in Preston, go check it out. I'm sure a lot of people will be down there this weekend, and if you have any videos or content you want to send to us, feel free to post it on our page at Haunting Live Podcast on Facebook, or check out our group as well, Haunting Live Podcast Facebook group, where you can post anything you like there too. So look forward to seeing some of your pictures. I know one of our colleagues, Kim, was down there today. She was checking some stuff out on as close as she could get down there, and she's got some pictures she sent to us, but we haven't been down there yet today. So I'm just going to now pull up some other stuff here for you guys.
And so Pamelina says that she's actually upset though it wouldn't be restored. Jillian said though basically the sign has been actually up for so many years though for sale.
Yeah, there's been a sign up there for a long time, along with the windows and everything being boarded up for quite a long time.
And also, Pamelina sent back actually Kaufman's YMCA, the hospital built actually them.
Yeah.
And that is right. Actually, the Natural Springs Hotel has been also used as a hospital.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's been used for quite a few things. I just didn't realize that it actually officially closed its doors and been vacant since 2012. That's not that long ago, so I thought it was maybe a little bit older than that they closed it, but it's fairly recent in the timeline that they closed it. So but it's been vacant since 2012. It is 2021 as of tonight later on, so that's quite a few years it's been closed. People have been breaking in, doing the urban exploring and all that stuff, so and through those years, I guess it's just become too unstable and unsafe to even be at that location where it is. So much traffic driving by there every day with trucks and everything else on Fountain Street. That's a pretty busy area of Preston and Cambridge. So it's probably a better thing that it is being torn down before something does happen to it and somebody gets hurt inside by breaking in and stuff like that. So I do see their point of view, but as a historical person and as a paranormal person, I do hope that they preserve the historical value of the building in some way more than just taking a few artifacts from it. I hope they preserve part of the building somewhere where people can visit as a memorial to that building. So, okay, so let's move on here, guys. I'm going to play a few clips for you here. So we'll switch back to my window and bring up the first clip I want to play. They're just short little clips. This one here was posted by 570 News, and I'll try not to post any of those comments down there. But this is a video of earlier today. I'm not sure what time it was posted. This is about 9 hours ago. So, demolition underway at the Preston Springs Hotel is the title of it. I think it's only a few minutes long, so it's not too long. So let's just take a look here at this one. Actually, I'm going to turn on also the desktop audio for you guys. Yeah, this one's about 2 minutes. So right now what they're destroying is the oldest part of the building on that end of it, and that's the most historical part. So that's the one they decided to start with. And this is unedited, so I can't control any audio that comes through. Part of the roof. That was that one, and there it is. Here's another short one. This one's only about 25 seconds, so I'll replay it here. Okay. Alright, so I'll close that one off. Oops, I just closed one that I wanted to keep up. And of course, there's this also. I wanted to point out to you guys that that 570 and those videos that I just showed were approximately from 8 or 9 hours ago this morning. And this one here was posted about 4 hours ago from 570 News. It says, breaking: the temporary injunction halting the demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel has been cancelled. So basically meaning the court order I was talking about earlier that they tried to put in place from the courts for a hold on it to be held for about a week. It was cancelled almost immediately, about 2 hours after it was put out, I was told. And the work has continued, so that there is proof here from 570 that this was actually canceled almost immediately after they tried to stop the work on the demolition. So, okay. So that's about all I have. I do have a few videos up here on YouTube as well. So let me just close off the Facebook link. So we'll switch over to YouTube because I wanted to find a bunch of different ones for you guys that haven't been able to make it down yet. Like us, we haven't been able to get down there in person yet to see what's been going on. So I found a bunch of posts from today on YouTube here, and I will just play a couple of these quick ones as well. And let's see how long some of these are. And of course, full credit goes to the people that were down there video taping these on their phones and putting them up on social media. So all credit, of course, goes to their content. So, But these are some clips I did find just searching about the demolition that happened today. So let's try this one right here. This looks like the first punch through. They're just starting. They're bringing up the net on the outside for safety. And the first punch through on the building is happening in this video. So again, like I've said, they decided when they started the demolition on the Preston Springs Hotel here, they decided to start on the oldest and most historical end of the building, which I think was a tactical decision on their part, because once they start doing that, they can't go back on it and say, well, yeah, any stop orders that like they tried to present today, they just were overwritten because they already started demolition on it, and there's nothing they could really do to stop it. They started to make it even unsafer than what it was by taking down the oldest historical part first. Alright, let's go back. There's that one here too. Well, it looks like this one they're going to be taking down that corner piece on the top of the roof area. Looks like they're taking down the corner here, so let's see what happens with that. Looks like he's trying to reach for the very top of it. And there it goes. Going down. And crash. The tip top, highest point of the Preston Springs was taken down. So it looks like they zoomed in a little bit now. They can see closer up to what they're doing with the roof. Just ripping it to shreds, it looks like. that's basically that. So, other thing I tried to do today was just research when I got home a little bit about any reported activity, actually, paranormal activity that people have caught in the hotel. And quite honestly, I haven't found too much yet. I did a little bit of research and found this one here. Just some reports of some people that had been inside, and they sent some reports into this TorontoGhosts.org website, one of the oldest ghost websites out there for Ontario. And they do have a lot of reports of some stuff that people have sent in, but nothing really too major. Like, I was kind of surprised there's not more out there about the hauntings of it. But that just reverts back to what I mean before, that what I was talking about before, when we've tried to get in ourselves and we weren't able to get into the building even just to check it out through proper channels and stuff like that, just to prove that there is actually paranormal activity happening inside. So they get proof and evidence of that rather than just having all these rumors. But now they just decide to tear it down instead and not have anybody deal with that kind of stuff at all. But I guess I will show just one picture here that one of our colleagues, Kim, was down there earlier today, just checking it out down there in Cambridge, and she's taking some pictures and stuff, and she did find some stuff in one that she took here, if I can hold it up here. So she circled the area, and it's just on the balcony area of the hotel. So
If you zoom in,
it's zoomed in.
you don't know if you zoom in. There's two faces I've seen.
Yeah. So she did catch some stuff when she was down there today, and we thank her for checking that out and sending a couple pictures to us. So we do think there is actually paranormal activity down there. It's just unfortunate that no official teams were ever able to go in officially with city or owner permission and go in and do a full, proper investigation that I know of. So if there is somebody in the past that has had that has had official access through the owner or through the city and has had permission and has done an official professional investigation and has paranormal evidence from Preston Springs Hotel, we will definitely be interested in talking to you. And please feel free to contact us, and maybe someday we would actually have you on the podcast here at Haunting Live, and we can talk to you about what took place there and what you found out during your investigation at Preston Springs. I know a lot of people have been down there doing trespassing and stuff like that and break and enters, and that is something that we don't do. So if you're doing that, well, you don't have that chance anymore because it's been demolished as of today. So, but that's about what we want to talk about with you guys today. Show you a couple of those videos we found and some pictures that were out there and the news that's floating around today about Preston Springs Hotel being demolished. The demolition started today around noon. They did try to put an injunction in to halt it for a week. That did go through the court, and it did get passed, but it only lasted for about 2 hours, is what they said. And after that, they continued doing the demolition of the hotel. So unfortunately, it looks like the demolition is going to go forward. I did say originally when they started the podcast here that I do feel why they're doing it. I know there's a safety reason. I know there's a historical reason why they've chosen to do the demolition to the public and stuff like that. It's unsafe. But also the fact that it's been there for so long. It's been there for decades and decades, and it's had several owners, and people have tried to renovate it and remodel it into something new. And every single time it seems that they get a new owner and they try to do things, nothing comes of it for decades after that again. So,
Ruth just sent something in while you were talking.
Yeah, I do see Ruth has a question. Don't want me to sound, but where will the spirits go? Well, that's a good question, Ruth. Where will the spirits go? So the rumor is it is haunted, is a rumored haunted location. People have done trespassing and breaking enters there to try to investigate inside. But nobody has officially got in there as an official paranormal investigation team to bring official evidence forward to find out if it is actually haunted or not. So we can't say, yes, 100% there are spirits there. But being what it was before, operating during the wartime. It operated as a spa. It operated as a retirement facility and a care facility up until 1990. Then it also was vacant since 2012. So what we call that in paranormal times is recent activity. So if there is any activity from that recent time period, then yes, I would say, especially from the retirement part and the care facility part, I would imagine there would have been some deaths in that location. So yes, I would assume there would be spirit activity in there because it is linked to the sulfur springs that are underneath the building in the ground. And flowing water like that in the springs can generate a lot of activity. So
where will the spirits go, though?
Where will the spirits go? Well, that's what we hope we can find out later on. Once the building is demolished, spirits usually can attach themselves to objects that are in the place, or they can stay within the land that's attached to that land. So what we're hoping is once that building is finally officially gone, maybe a year or so down the road, or a couple months after the demolition, depending what they do with the property, if it's not fenced off and stuff like that, we can get onto the property and actually do an investigation of the land by itself. See if there are any spirits that stayed attached to the land and to that well that's still there, because the springs will still be there, that flowing water energy will still be there. So we're hoping that we could get onto the property later and check it out. But that's a good question. Like, there are tons of spirits that are probably going to be really upset as of today that their location is being destroyed and not respected. So I would say to anybody in that area that takes that area as a route and driving through Cambridge on Fountain Street or even King Street, beware of any energies that might be around that area. They may be upset. They may have anger that their building was destroyed. So you may see apparitions and have things happen in that area, especially at that intersection, because there is a set of lights right in front of the building. So who knows? They could play havoc with those lights and cause some accidents and stuff like that. So yeah, we do hope they stay with the land too, Ruth. It's something that we hope. Well, we know the spirits are not going to be happy with that. Like, who would be happy with their home being destroyed and not preserved in respectful ways? So, but yeah, we hope they stay with the land. So. But we're just having an open chat night with you guys. Like we said, happy New Year's Eve to you guys. And we welcome in 2021 tonight at midnight. And we hope 2021 is a much better year than 2020 has been for everyone. We know it's been a rough year, and but some good things have come of it. Like we are able to start Haunting Live Podcast here for you guys every week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight, and look forward to talking to you later on this weekend. This is just an emergency pop-up kind of open chat night we're having with you guys here. Just an open discussion on the demolition of the Preston Springs Hotel in Preston, Cambridge, Ontario. If you're just tuning in, the Preston Springs Hotel is being demolished as we speak. It started being demolished today around noon, and they put a stop order in through the courts this afternoon to try to preserve it. That lasted a whole about 2 hours, and then they started continuing the demolition this afternoon. So they say it's going to take a couple days to demolish, and it should be done within 2 or 3 days. So hopefully it goes smoothly for them. I do wish them the best of luck in their job, what they do. Nobody gets hurt, stuff like that. But from a historical point of view, I also hope that they preserve some part of the building rather than just some artifacts out of it. It's great to have those couple artifacts that you can keep, but I hope they present some kind of memorial or something for that plot of land that this has stood on since 1888. So 1888 to 2020 are the dates for the Preston Springs Hotel. So happy New Year, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you guys later on this weekend. We do have our regular scheduled podcast coming up this Sunday. Unfortunately, though, due to bandwidth restrictions and some issues that we're still having a streaming guest on, we are going to be doing it on a pre-recorded basis, at least for this week, and see if that works a little bit better. So we'll record it and we'll post it up right away on Sunday once we get the podcast finished for you guys, and it'll be up on our social media and stuff like that as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Try not to drink too much tonight, but have some fun, have some celebration. It is a new year starting midnight tonight, and hopefully we will have a better year in 2021. So from all of us here at Haunting Live Podcast, take care, guys, and we'll see you guys on our regular podcast, which is our first podcast starting Sunday nights this week. So we'll be posting it for you on Sunday. Take care, guys. Have a great night, and Happy New Year.
Did you hear that? Thanks for watching.